Many hands make light work is a phrase that you may have heard before. And in Luke chapter 10, Jesus sends out 72 other disciples in pairs and gives them instructions. But the words that he speaks in verse 2 make me feel like he understands this a bit. He says in verse 2, the harvest is great, but the workers are few. So pray to the Lord who is in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send more workers in the fields. See, Jesus understood this sentiment. He understood that there would always be work and plenty to do. He understood that there would always be the need for more people to be sent to share the message of Jesus Christ and what God has done for us. And so the need to pray for workers who will go, who will be sent out, will always exist. And it can seem strange, like why? Why is there still a need over 2,000 years beyond the resurrection? How are there still more people in the world who have not heard the message of Jesus Christ, who do not know about him? And how does this happen? Like who is supposed to go? Who all is sent? And what's it mean to be sent exactly? Well, we find the answers to these questions in the rest of the instructions that he gives the disciples. See, Jesus tells them when they go to take nothing with them, nothing at all with them, and to rely on the people in the places that they go to provide what they need to eat, what they might need to wear, all of those things. This is a little crazy to us. Like, I'm a planner and a packer. I have 3 kids. So when we go somewhere, I want to have everything that we need. But Jesus is telling the disciples here, hey, take nothing with you, because Jesus is wanting them to have this kind of reliance on God and knowing that he can come through for them, not just for the message that they would share, but for their basic needs. And this can be a struggle because there are times in our lives where even our basic needs, we feel like we're struggling to have met. There have been places in your life where you've probably gone where you don't feel like you fit or you belong. And there may have been people along the way who have rejected you. Maybe you don't feel like you fit in at work. Maybe you don't know if you're sent or if you even have a message. That's okay, because the fact is that we are all sent. We all have a message, and we all belong to the family of God if you have accepted Jesus Christ and put your faith and trust in him. You belong to the family of God. And in fact, this is why he tells us that you should rejoice, because your name is in, it says that your name is registered in heaven. That's why you rejoice. And so he tells them, he's saying here that, listen, the places that you go, if you are a believer in Jesus Christ, everywhere you go, if you look at those as a place that you are sent, and know that the message that you have is the story of how Jesus has impacted your life, how he has come through and been there in your life. That is your message. That is your story that you have to share. You have an amazing, unique opportunity to share that message with those who you come in contact with, no matter where you go and where you are right now. You are sent. And maybe you have a fear of being rejected, and that's why you find it hard to be able to share that message. But Jesus knew this. In fact, he tells the disciples, he says, if you're rejected, he said to wipe the dust off your feet on your way out. Just wipe the dust off your feet, because he tells them in verse 16, he says, anyone who accepts your message is also accepting me. And anyone who rejects you is also rejecting me. If anyone rejects me, is rejecting God who sent me. So what he's saying here is they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting God who sent you, God who lives inside of you. So don't be afraid. Don't allow fear to keep you from being sent and sharing the message that God has given you to share. Trust the Holy Spirit that is living inside of you, the God who is with you, and go knowing that you have something worthy of sharing.